name's Laura. If you're oh sorry, I'm adjusting my jumper because it's on slightly crooked. My name's Laura. If you're a new visitor, if you're a returning viewer, then hello, nice to see you again. And if you're a new viewer, hi, thanks for stopping by and spending some time with us. So, what can I tell you about us? So, I'm one half of the duo behind the online magazine Olann and, which, if you don't know, is an Irish-based fibre and craft magazine, which sounds a little strange actually because I'm English, but I live in Ireland. When there's two of us, my partner in crime is Irish, so Deirdre is my usual partner in crime on the magazine, and she's on maternity leave at the moment. These two co-hosts, so the little Jack Russell, the black Jack Russell who is sleeping and hiding, is Errol, and Tom is they're not my normal co-hosts, and we don't normally sit in my bedroom, although this is the second time sitting in my bedroom filming. It just seems to get them the best light. So Olann and, as I say, it's a fibre and craft magazine. Olann means wool in Ireland, so it's wool and, so it's kind of our main focus is wool and fibre, but we throw in a little bit of craft and a little bit of other kind of making news from over here. Because Ireland's such a relatively small country with a relatively small population, we kind of throw the doors open, and we also source items to put in the magazine from the UK and further afield. It's a free online magazine as well, I should say that, and it comes out every kind of quarter. A little bit late getting this issue out because I'm doing everything by myself at the moment, and because it's silly season in the not too distant future, it's a difficult one to kind of get everything in on time and things like that. So it will be there, and hopefully before Christmas. So the normal format of things is that, before I go on, I should say that you can find the magazine at www.ollandand.ie. We're on all the social medias, so on Twitter and Facebook we're Olann and on Instagram we're Olann and Magazine. We're also on Ravelry. We have a group on Ravelry, and that's where I'll upload the podcast notes, and there's a bit of chatter going on in there at the moment. And if you want to ask anything, get in contact. You can send me a DM, or you can contact me on Ravelry, or email me. The email address is on the website. I think that's all of the housekeeping. Except to say that on social media individually, you'll find Deirdre as Donna Diamond on Ravelry and Deirdre McCardle on Instagram, and I'm Left Foot Daisy. So I'm Left Foot Daisy on Ravelry, Instagram and Facebook, and then I have my own blog, which is fibrestrumpet.com. And actually I've got 2 or 3 blogs waiting to publish. I just needed to take some photos, so I must get my acting gear, which seems to be my thread at the moment. My brain is otherwise distracted. My daughter is due her first child, my first grandchild, on New Year's Day, and yeah, I've said this before on the podcast, but I think it's getting worse as her due date gets closer. I'm completely up in a heap. Somebody said to me the other day that their mum told them that when you're the grandma, you have double the worry because you're worrying about your child and then you're worrying about your child's child. And I think they're probably right. I'm incredibly distracted, and I'm quite prone to doing the whole squirrel. In my case, it's usually pretty. But at the moment, I'm incredibly distracted. I sit down to write something, and I'm daydreaming. I'm off thinking about knitting, or is my daughter okay, or whatever. So anyone who's been through this, I'm sure you can sympathise. I wasn't this worried when I had my own kids. So all that to say, things are a little bit slow getting together at the moment, and I tried to film this yesterday. It was a beautiful sunny morning here yesterday, and I was like, there's loads of light, so I'll get everything ready. But to be truthful, I was kind of pushing it. I had to go out, and I'm a member of the Cork Hand Weavers Guild, and I had to go out in the afternoon and kind of do my stint on our stall at a Christmas craft fair, and I was pushing it. And I'm sure anyone that does a podcast can appreciate that what happens is it takes you a little while to get comfortable sitting behind the camera again. I'm sure even the most seasoned podcasters or presenters and things like that, yeah, yeah, you're kind of sitting down, you're essentially talking to yourself, and it takes a while for the rhythm to come. So I kind of started, I was like, no, enough. So anyway, let's get on with this. So the form the podcast usually takes is that we show you a couple of things from the last issue, from the maybe one of the designs, a couple of things from the Olann and section, maybe a couple of other bits and pieces, and then we usually go through our own kind of crafting or making and what have you. But because my colleague who is on maternity leave went on maternity leave prior to the last issue publishing, kind of halfway through the previous issue being published, we didn't get through everything from the previous issue, so now I'm trying to get through both, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense? I don't know. So I've got something from the Sunny Summer Days issue, and I've got something to show you, some things to show you from the current issue, which is the Harvest Moon issue. So, and hopefully the midwinter night issue will publish within the next fortnight. Okay, so the first design I want to talk to you about, or show you, should I say, in a bit more detail, is the granny market bag. So I've got my notes here just because, yeah, like I said, it's going to go all over the place. If not, it will still go all over the place. So the granny market bag was designed by Zine and Roger, which is actually Rosina, I think. And she's a really well-known crochet designer. She does an awful lot of kind of bright coloured stuff. She has her own podcast. Yeah, great. Like really, really zany and bubbly and what have you. So if you don't know her, go and check her out. I'm sure you'll like her, especially if crochet is your thing. So this is the first sample. So it's a very generous sized bag. And it's done in trebles, so it's got that kind of typical granny square look to it, done in trebles. And then these are doubles. So this is doubles in American terminology, and these are singles in American terminology. Get me, I sound like I know what I'm talking about. So I don't crochet. For those of you that haven't come and watched an episode before, I don't crochet. I don't really crochet. I did make this, but I don't really crochet. And all I ever really wanted to learn how to do was to make granny squares and granny blankets, because I just thought they'd be a great way of using up yarn. So I did make this. I made this a couple of years ago. Actually, it's coming out quite nice on the screen. I just made this with a yarn called Super Soft Aran from Serdar. So it's 100% acrylic, and just bung it in and out of the washing machine as you like. And it dries really quickly, which is kind of imperative, especially when it's winter in Ireland. I'm not sure if this is the case for most of Ireland, but I live in a very kind of damp area of Ireland. So anyway, so this is the second version of the granny market bag. And the yarn that we've used for both of them is actually Stylecraft's Classique cotton in the DK, which has loads of great colours in it. It's not a mercerized cotton, so it's more like a kind of a raw matte cotton. They've got a great colour range in it. I think now they sell it in 50-gram balls. They used to sell it in 100-gram balls, but they changed it to 50-gram balls so that they realised that a lot of people were doing crochet in it. So to kind of meet the market demand and not leave people with lots of yarn unused, they changed it to 50-gram balls. So so the pink version, Rosina crocheted that was the sample that Rosina crocheted. And then this blue example, my good friend Goosey Lucy crocheted. And it's interesting because their tensions were slightly different. I'm not sure it's coming across so much on the screen. It's a little bit more difficult to show you. But it definitely came across before it was blocked, before the blue one was blocked. No, they're actually not too bad on together like that. And what I did when I blocked it was I actually put like a plastic carrier bag in with some bits and pieces to kind of weigh it down a little bit so that it had a good amount of stretch in there. And being cotton, it's going to give quite a bit more. So they're kind of market bags, but they'll serve quite well in your house for storage and things like that. Don't get me started. I've got bags everywhere at the moment. I was taking a picture of something in the house yesterday, and my daughter said, "Oh, wool in the background." Taking it on my stairs as well, on my hallway. It's everywhere. I have to move. I have pins and needles. Oh, right. Note to self, not sure sitting on the floor all the time is the best thing. Okay, so that's one of the designs, and as I say, you'll find that in the Sunny Summer Days issue. The second design I wanted to talk to you about was, let me get my bits and pieces together. The good thing about sitting on the floor is you can have everything around you. Right, okay, so the second design I wanted to show you is I have to try and make sure I say this properly now. I want to say the Subalpine, or is it see, it can't be Subalpine? Okay, so it's the Subalpine Prance hat, and that's been designed by Elizabeth Greenfield, who has actually already designed who has designed two previous designs for us, should I say. Take my teeth out. We've been working with Elizabeth for the whole year, and it's been lovely actually, because she's designed 4 designs. There's another design to be in the Midwinter Night issue when it's released, and she's done 4 designs, and the idea is that they're colour work hats, and each hat increases in its level of difficulty. So the first hat was, oh, what was it called? The Rachel hat. I can't remember. I'll put it down here. It was a name. It was a girl's name, and it was basically girls holding hands around it, which is really good and really on trend. And there was a little bit of colour work on that, and there was 3 different brim options. The next hat was the carnival hat, and that had a little bit more colour work. You were working with different colours, so that was the next step up, and that was actually an Aran weight. And then this hat, the third hat, is a more complicated knit. Let me show you. I'll try one on. Oh, I need to make sure that I haven't got. It's very difficult. I left the ends so that I would know where it joined in the round. So they're knitted in the round. They're colour work, as you can see, using 2 colours. Now you definitely have the option there to use more colours. I do think the 2 colours together are quite striking. They kind of work quite well together. So I'll put one of them on. Let's just have a look. So, I really like them. I tend to wear my hats. I like my hats to kind of keep my ears warm. And I like the shape of this hat. So the yarn that we used is Yarn Vibes Veil, and I'll show you that in a minute. So that's one colourway, and this is the second colourway. Ooh. And it's coming out quite red on there, but it's like a kind of red, a rosy pink. I don't know. This is see, it's blowing out quite a lot. And I know that red is one of the worst colours to photograph. I don't know if you've come across that yourselves. And like, for example, I'm wearing a very pink lipstick, but it's coming out quite red on screen, so I kind of knew that things were going to blow out. So this is the second colourway. Look, I left the yarns quite long so that I knew what was the start of the round. I think I didn't sew 2 of them in. No, I didn't sew these ones in either. Shame on me. So that's one colourway. That's the second colourway. And as I say, the yarn is called it's Yarn Vibes, and it's called Veil. And I kept the ball bands here, so let's have a look. So Veil is technically a sport weight, but it's a sport weight, but when I was knitting it, I found it to be more like a heavyweight 4-ply. So I know it's gone in on the on the Ravelry listing as a sports weight, and I mean there are 328 yards, 300 meters per 100 grams, but it's definitely a versatile yarn. It's a woolly wool, a proper rustic woolly wool. So this color is called Yewberry, I think, which is the wrong, that's this one here. So let me show you the ball band. So this one's called Yewberry, and this is, it's 100% Irish wool, which is quite unusual for Ireland. We have quite a lot of well, not quite a lot, we have several mills here, but probably the most well-known mill doesn't tend to use pure Irish wool, or just pure Irish wool. This is pure Irish wool, and this has been manufactured by Dermot Cummins, I think that's right, I think I've got his surname right, and he is of S-Twist wool, but he's working in conjunction with Yarn Vibes, who are kind of a growing business, and he's been working with them to produce yarns for them. So this is his sports weight. So the red, and so that was the plain, I think they've just called that white, they just called natural white, they've called it. And then this is the bluey colour, which they called blueberry. I need another hand. So, and had I had more time, I was toying with doing a third sample in all three colours, and I may do that at some stage because I think they kind of work quite well together. They're really nice. Well, you can kind of see there how rustic it is. It's a nice yarn. I've actually designed a few garments for Yarn Vibes now, 2 shawls and 1 hat. One of the shawls has been published, and I used the sport weight for that. And I can wear quite a lot of, I can wear quite woolly wool, but I was just a bit conscious that somebody that maybe can't wear something so rustic wouldn't want it around their necks. So I actually knitted it at quite a bit of a looser gauge. And I've knitted a sample of that myself, of the same shawl. So perhaps on the next episode, I might show you that. Yarn Vibes renamed it. They called it the Kaylee shawl. I think originally I'd named it the Ballysaggart. I think I named it Ballysaggart Towers, because there's a beautiful place here that is like this folly, and it's kind of grey stone, and the colour that they sent me was grey and like a mix of oranges and yellows, and like kind of reminded me of the leaves sitting up next to the tower. So, but they've renamed it Kaylee. So it's a lovely yarn to knit with. As I say, it's a generous 300 meters. I mean, if you look, so I've used, if you look at it, I've used that's the amount that I have left from knitting the 1 hat, but I've used the ecru on both hats. So, and there's still enough left there to do at least another hat, if not 2, and another pair, should I say. So yeah, so go and check them out. Elizabeth is a very talented designer, and we were working together to try and make it as kind of Irish, I suppose, as possible, in a sense that it was with as I say, with this Irish yarn. You can find the yarn at yarnvibes.com, I think their website is. Where are we? I'm pretty sure it's yarnvibes.com, and I think it costs about 20, it's something like 25 or 29 euros. So what else do I need to tell you about the hat? It's knitted in the round, as I said, and it is knitted on helps if you have your notes in the right order. Oh, I knitted it on a 2.75 millimeter needle. Oh, and before I forget, the Granny Market bag from Scenes and Roger, that was made up on a 3.5 millimeter hook, just to give it a little bit more substance than the 4 millimeter that you'd usually use for a double knit. So that's the 2 designs. Oh, last thing, in the Harvest Moon issue, 2 designs all done. So I wanted to show you a couple of things from the Olann and Loves section of the magazine. I might have a drink, maybe that's what it is. That's much better. I'm still on the elderflower. Anyone who's been watching the last few episodes will know that I've got a thing about elderflower at the moment. My son, my eldest son, is driving up to Dublin today to go and get some bits and pieces, and they're going to IKEA. So I was like, I need more elderflower. The IKEA one is my favourite one at the moment. They'll sell out at this rate. I wonder how long it would take for me to drink IKEA dry. Shh, baby. Shush, 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 shush. 1 minute. Sorry about that. I had to go and put the dogs downstairs. We from where the dogs were sitting, I've got a window kind of directly behind where the camera is, and oh, sorry, I'm out of breath. And someone's pulled up on the farm, and they're just training one of their dogs. So they, my dogs, can see another dog, and as far as they're concerned, this is their territory, and they're going to guard it. So despite me trying to calm them down, it just hadn't worked. So I was like, no, I'll take you downstairs. So where was I? Okay, so I was going to run through a couple of things from the Olann and Loves section of the magazine, which Olann and Loves is kind of a, I suppose, like a collection of bits and pieces that we spot on our travels, or if we're looking through Instagram, Etsy, other bits and pieces like that, or sometimes people actually let us know about things, and it can be a collection of things. It's not, we try and include a few bits and pieces that are relevant to knitting and crochet, but it could be a collection of things. I was actually looking at some hand carved salad utensils yesterday that I thought would make a really good addition. So I've kind of emailed the maker, so if I can get hold of them, not for the next issue but the issue after that, then I'll put them in. But so we have, from our Sunny Summer Days issue, I wanted to talk to you about the Rosie's Rags embroidery kits. So this is the business card, and I'll have to read my notes because I know I'll forget this. So so the Rosie's Rags embroidery kits. So because embroidery is kind of, well, you can't fail to miss embroidery at the moment on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that. It's kind of everywhere at the moment. It's enjoying a really big revival again. So Sarah Bracken is the maker behind Rosie's Rags, and she's a Dublin-based artist, designer and educator working in animation, embroidery, street art, zines and printmaking. So she's got a background in artistic event management, I think, if I remember rightly. Let me have a look. Yeah, so she teaches art at second level as well. She's a lecturer in graphic and design in the Dublin Institute of Design. So I mean, she's she's definitely up on design. So she makes these beautiful kits for people to then do the embroidery themselves, and they can display them in their home. So this is how the kits come packaged, and I'm kind of loath to unwrap it. So what I might do is actually pop a picture of one or more of the designs in here now, so that you can see them. Hopefully that's worked. So let me tell you a little bit more about these kits. So the kits include everything you need to create your embroidery, including a 6-inch embroidery frame, 100% cotton with the design printed on it, 2 needles, threads and comprehensive instructions, all packaged in the cardboard box and tied with string. So it kind of creates this kind of vintage feel, and actually even the kind of the way the label's stuck on, it all adds to it, doesn't it? This one is actually Seize the Day. Let me hold it a bit closer so it's a typewriter. With Seize the Day, vintage typewriter. Very cool. And let's have a look. So Sarah has also written craft tutorials for magazines in the UK and the US. And she had these really great pins out when we featured her in the magazine. It was a little bit it was around the time of the Repeal the 8th campaign, and she'd done pins for that, and she does pins for other bits and pieces, enamel pins. So it's always a good idea to keep an eye on what she's doing if that's your sort of thing. You'll find her on Instagram as Sarah_Bracken_art, but you'll find all the information in the Olann and Loves section of the Sunny Summer Days issue. These kits start at €15 plus shipping, so check her out. well worth it. So that's those. And then the next thing I wanted to show you, I'm looking around me because I have everything all over the place. So the next item I wanted to show you is also going to be part of a giveaway that we're going to run on YouTube. So let me just make sure I've got everything here. So the Bead and Button Emporium is the name of the company, and it's polymer clay and ceramic buttons. And the lady behind the Bead and Button Emporium is Sharon. I first saw Sharon's buttons at the Yarn Folk Festival of Wool, not this year, but last year, so 2017. And for me, I'm a little bit obsessed by buttons. I think buttons can really make a garment, and sometimes they're kind of a secondary thing. Definitely when I had the shop, for those of you that don't know, I had a yarn shop for 10 years, and I used to spend almost as much time shopping for buttons as I would do for yarn. And yeah, I prided myself on sourcing some really unusual buttons, and had I still got the shop, I would be contacting Sharon, to see if I could stock some of her buttons, because they're just fabulous. So while I was talking to Sharon about featuring her buttons in the magazine, she was like, I'll send you some extra bits and pieces and we can do a giveaway. So we'll come to that. So Sharon she was originally making buttons and beads in polymer clay, and she's moved on to doing buttons in ceramics now as well. So let's just have a look. She comes from a very crafty background. She's been making things for years, and let's have a look. And she started making buttons because, like I've just said, they're not really that easy to get. They're kind of difficult to get. Right, so let me show you some of Sharon's buttons. So there's these ones. They're kind of cool. There are these larger ones, and as you can see, she's based in Wexford. There are these ones, which I absolutely love. I think they're really, really nice. And it says on the back of them that you can hand wash at 30 degrees Celsius, do not tumble dry or dry clean. This is one of the largest ceramic ones. I'm hoping you can see that clearly. Actually, I'll show you the back of this so you can see the information on the back. There's another ceramic one, which is like a sunburst. This is a large polymer clay one, which I actually love the colours of. I think it's very, very good. You can see that on a really big kind of oversized cardigan, can't you? Just one fastener. Sharon has also started making stitch markers, so let me show you these. I'm just going to push them in a little bit more so that you can see them a bit clearer. So that's the heart, spade and clubs. Heart, spade, clubs and diamonds from a pack of cards. And then, because we were talking about a giveaway, Sharon very kindly sent a little project bag to give away as well. And I was thinking, because there's so many different bits and pieces here, it might be an idea to split them into two separate giveaway packages, so we could have two winners, which would be really nice. So it'll be an assortment, so one lucky person will get the project bag, and I suspect the other lucky person will get the stitch markers, and then I'll kind of divide the buttons up. So if we do two winners, and I was thinking about a giveaway question. I think we'll just run the giveaway on YouTube. So if you could leave your response to the question I'm going to give you in a minute in the comments on YouTube, that way then I can just I'll tot up how many comments there are and do a random number generator from that. I won't reply to any of the comments with anything but a love heart, just to let you know that I've read it, just so that way then it's easier to work out who's won. And once we've done it, I'll respond then. I can respond later. So I was thinking about a question, and I think because of the time of year and the season that's in it, I was thinking that the question could be, can you tell me your favourite Christmas carol and why? I love Christmas carols. I'm not sure if I've got a good voice. I don't think I do. But I was in the choir at school and stuff like that, and I love singing. I get when I'm singing along to songs in the car or in the house. It just makes you happy, doesn't it? It just makes you really, really happy and cheerful. So yeah, if you could tell me what's your favourite Christmas carol and why, and I will announce the winners in the next episode. Yeah, in the next episode, which I would hope to film. Or I might try and film an episode over Christmas, so that way then I can go to Brighton for the impending grandchild if he doesn't get here a little bit early in the new year. So that'll be great. So yeah, so if you answer that, as I say, we'll do a giveaway. And thanks again, Sharon. That's lovely. I'm a little bit jealous. I don't want to do a giveaway. I want to keep them. Okay, so I've shown you some bits and pieces from the last two issues, the current issue and the issue before, and now I think it'd be nice to kind of show you a few to-dars of my own, a few bits and pieces that I've purchased, and maybe some ongoing projects. So let's start with the to-dars. I need to find the to-dars. Aha. I've put the to-dars over here. Oh, I don't know, I feel daft. I fell over yesterday, which isn't, I mean, yeah, I'm a bit clumsy. I fell over yesterday and I kind of hurt my leg. It's not too bad, but it's a little bit stiff. So I was gonna say, I feel like I'm much older than I am. So if you grunts and groans, I'm trying really hard not to grunt and groan when I move, but that's kind of what it feels like I need to do. So I'm sorry. Okay, so to-dars. I'm confused what I've said now, because I started filming this and then I started filming it again, and I can't remember if I've mentioned that I've got a grandson due. I probably have. And if you've watched before, you definitely know that I've got a grandchild due. So my first grandchild, who is a little boy, is due at the beginning of New Year. He's due on New Year's Day. And it will be my daughter's first baby, my first grandbaby. So lots and lots of excitement. So I've been knitting away like a crazy person. But in between knitting for him, I've also had to knit the samples for the magazine. So I haven't quite made as many things as I would have liked to have made, but there's loads of time. So I've knitted him 5 cardigans so far. I think I've done a good few hats. And I'm now on kind of socks and booties. And I've blocked 4 of the cardigans. 4 of them are ready to go. I've just got to sew buttons onto 3 of them. And I've got 1 more cardigan to block. And then I'm going to kind of sit down. The plan is to sit down and sew the buttons in all on one day. That being the idea. Now, having said that, I did make a baby vertebrae, which I showed in the last episode, and it's blocked now. And I just thought I'd show you it again. And of course, there's no buttons required on a baby vertebrae. So note to self, maybe make more baby vertebrae. So this is the baby vertebrae all blocked now. And I just think it's lovely. I've never knitted an Aran or worsted weight baby vertebrae before, and I absolutely adore it. This yarn was the remainder of the Irish fairy tales yarn that we used for a little vest in one of the issues of the magazine. Oh my word, what was it? I'll put the name of the vest. Woodlawn Vest is what I think it's called, and it was designed by, oh dear, oh my word. I'll put the name here so that you can go and check it out if you like. And we used this yarn. And this was just, I think there was like half the ball left, so this was the remainder of what was left. And this, although it looks like I've done, it's a design element, this lovely yellow here, that was purely because I'd run out of yarn of the petrol colour. And this was, again, a little bit of yarn that we'd used in the magazine. This was Phileas Yarns, one of their colourways called... Nope, can't remember. I know I did make a note of it in the podcast notes last time, and I'll do it again. But yeah, this is the first size, as I say, in the worsted weight. So that's one of the cardigans. There's no point in me showing you the rest of the cardigans until they've got their buttons sewn on. So I'll show you those next time. Another ta-da, to be honest, I've been doing a lot of weaving at the moment. I'm a member of the Cork Hand Weavers Guild, and we're trying very hard to get some new members. We're called the Hand Weavers, but we don't just hand weave. It is a weaving, spinning and dyeing guild. And we're made up of different kind of fibre artists. We all do a little bit of other fibre crafts as well, or indeed other crafts. But the guild predominantly focuses on weaving, spinning and dyeing. And we have about 15, 16 members at the moment, paid up members. But we could do with a few more. The more members you have, the more ideas you have to bounce around people. It's good that with more members you get more, there's more to do, if you know what I mean. I'm not explaining that very well. A lot of the members have been members for an awfully long time, which is good. Their library of knowledge that they have floating around in their brain is fantastic. But we kind of need a little bit of new blood, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. And our 40th birthday is in 2020, so we're kind of working towards that, and we'd like to get a few more members if possible over 2019 to kind of do something quite good and quite big in 2020. We're hoping to kind of maybe have an exhibition with some other guilds from the UK or further afield, so it would be nice to just kind of have a few more people on board. So it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation, and we are trying to get ourselves out there in order to attract more members, but obviously because there's only a limited number of us, it's quite difficult to get out there as well. And some of the other members are quite busy. They've got grandchildren or children or other commitments, so it's a little bit difficult to get out there. But the last 2 weekends, so this weekend just gone, it's Monday today, so yesterday we were at a Christmas craft fair, and then last week we were at a Christmas craft fair, and we're going purely to kind of demonstrate and like, come and join us. So if you know anyone that fancies joining us, we meet once a month for only 10 meetings in the year. We meet in Bishopstown Library, which is in a place called Wilton near Cork, so apologies to the people that don't live in the local area, but just in case you do. And membership is only €25 for the year. And we tend to do lots of different bits and pieces. I've shown you the pin weaving that we did before. We did nail binding last year, which, although it isn't weaving, it's another fibre craft, and it could be incorporated into a weave, or you could definitely use hand spun for it. What else have we done? I'm trying to think what else we've done. We had an eco dyeing day. I think I showed the scarves that we made. I led the eco dyeing day. What else did we do this year? We've had spinning workshops and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's nice, and I love it because I love, I think it's okay to say, I love the older ladies who have been there, done it. They've got the t-shirt, and they're just a great resource. So, and they're my friends. I feel very privileged to count them amongst my friends now. So yeah, please, even if you don't live locally and you know anyone that does, tell them about us. So, slightly digressing there, nothing new there. So yeah, as I say, I've been weaving lately because I wanted to get some examples ready to go on the stand of kind of bright and colourful and different bits. So I did these kind of mini wall hangings, which, I mean, they're not by any shadow of the imagination are they what they should be, but I was rushing, so the story of my life. So I just made these up with some different techniques, just so people could get an idea of them. And all I've done was kind of, I've finished the weaves off, and then sewn through and sewn them over the stick, over the branch, to make them hanging ones. There's another one there. Oops. Actually, to be fair, I could shorten this branch a little bit more. And I've made these mostly with knitting yarn, actually. which isn't as hard as weaving yarn. Weaving yarn tends to be a little bit more dense. This one I quite like. And they kind of, just to give people an idea of what they can do. We've obviously got some big big pieces of weaving. I've got some quite large pieces of cloth that I've woven, not fine weaving. I mean I have a rigid heddle loom. I actually have a really big floor loom that my husband bought when I asked him if he'd make me a peg loom. My first experience of weaving was a member of the guild, actually. That's how I came to be a member of the guild. I saw her weaving on a peg loom at some crafty event years and years ago. So I said to my husband, would you make me a peg loom? And he was like, yeah, no problem. Needless to say, I ended up with the peg loom eventually, maybe about 7 years later. But in the interim, someone we knew was getting rid of a floor loom, and it was incredibly reasonably priced, and it came with lots and lots of different bits and pieces, and he bought it for me as a gift, and he set it up, and for about a year I just looked at it and kind of threw things over it or hung things off of it. Until I eventually asked him if he'd take it down, because it was quite intimidating. So he took it down and he's wrapped it up in cling film and it's stored outside. And every so often he'll say to me, will I just sell the loom? And I'm like, no, don't sell the loom, because I will eventually have time to sit down and work it out. And even if I only ever make one rug on it before I sell it, I'll have used it. So no, please don't sell it. So whilst I do have looms that are capable of making lengths of fabric and very fine fabric, I'm not sure I'm the sort of person yet. I'm not in the headspace yet, should I say, to do that. Yeah. I have, now having said that, since he's made the peg loom, I've made a few things on the peg loom, and I actually have a rug on it at the moment that I really must get round to finishing. So all that to say that some of the other ladies in the guild are very, very skilled weavers, particularly skilled tapestry weavers, and they some of the things that they've made are absolutely incredible. There has been a series of portraits that they've made lately. I think I actually put a picture from the Court Textiles Network, which some of our members are also members of, who had an exhibition of portraits, self-portraits, up at the RDS, and I think I put a picture of that collection at the end of the last episode, and definitely three of the ladies from the Weavers Guild, from the Cork Hand Weavers, are members of that, and they wove their self-portraits, so go and check that out. But yeah, some of the stuff they make is fantastic. So I also made these, which they're just sitting on a piece of wool felt, which, let me see if I can. So these are like just an example of the same sort of thing, but they're actually brooches. I've put pins on the back of them to kind of show people the sort of things they can do. And I mean, look at the size of my finger. They are actually very, very small, and they were kind of fiddly to make, but I was able to make all four of these on the same warp. So I just kind of wove one, left a gap, wove another one, left a gap, and I made these on a tapestry frame, which to all intents and purposes is literally just 4 pieces of wood kind of glued together. We tend to use canvas stretchers, you know, like artist canvas canvas stretchers. We use those. We've got photo frames. You can use an old photo frame. Just be careful of the glass. Someone cut themselves quite badly on a little bit of glass that was on one. So just be careful if you're using a photo frame that you remove all of the glass properly. But yeah, nice and easy. So that's some more to-dos. What other to-dos do I have to show you? Oh, so because it's silly season, there have been lots and lots of different workshops going on around where I live. I live in a place called Lismore, which is quite well known for its castle. Have a look online. I'm not going to put a photo of the castle here because I can't do it anywhere near the justice that some of the photographers can do online. So as I say, it's called Lismore Castle. It's a beautiful big castle, and you can't actually really get into the castle. You can get into the castle gardens, and lots of people visit the gardens, and there's an art gallery down there, and occasionally there are events that go on in one or two of the rooms, and that's usually the kind of the extent of to which you can get into the castle and have a look around. You can rent the castle out, I believe, for, I'm just going to move some knitting, for a week at a time, I think. It costs a pretty penny. But definitely this year there's been 3 firework displays that we've seen from the castle here, so that we know that it's been rented out quite a lot, because you can obviously opt to have fireworks. So last week I went with one of my friends to a wreath making workshop there, and I'll put a picture of the finished wreath here. And as you can see, it's a greenery. It's a wreath with greenery on it. So it's currently hanging outside my front door. It's on a wall next to my front door, and it was an interesting technique. I've made Christmas wreaths in the past. I've made them myself using kind of, excuse me, soft branches that I've shaped. I actually used a dustbin lid because it's got like a recess in it, and I shaped them and I kind of tied them with some natural twine and left them take the shape of the circle from the dustbin, so they kind of dried off in that, and they worked really well. I've also made a willow wreath in the past. This one was slightly different in that what we did was we had the option to do this, but they'd already got it ready for us. They'd taken a piece of willow, I think, or hazel, some of them had hazel, and they'd made a circle with the willow, with the soft pliable willow, and they kind of tied it and left it to dry. And then what they did was they gave us the circle of the willow already made, and we then kind of wrapped it in hay, and it was hay that the castle gardeners had cut in one of the fields in the summer. So it was like a meadow hay with lots of wildflowers. So we kind of wrapped it in that. We used a little bit of a garden twine just to secure it in place, and compacted it, and we kind of went round one way and then went round the other way with the twine. And then from there in, we just started to kind of stick pieces of greenery in, or berries, or fir cones. I think some people used wired fir cones, but the idea was that it's something that it's all natural, other than if you've used the fir cones, obviously. But you can just put it on the compost heap after, and it will just break down. So it was great from that point of view. The grass from the meadows will be full of wildflower seeds, so while it's out in the garden they can just kind of dissipate and blow off. And it was a really, really lovely afternoon. We did it in one of the rooms in the castle, which I think is called the Puchin room or something like that. It's this wonderful big room. I took a picture of the chandelier, so I will pop a picture of that in here now so you can have a look. And this chandelier dominates the room. It's a wonderful wonderful example of a chandelier. Somebody said to me while we were there, "Oh, the chandelier is gorgeous," and I was like, "Do you know, it'd be a little bit mean looking in my house." I wish. Although no, maybe I don't. I can't imagine what the heating bill would be. So yeah, it was a lovely afternoon. They had mulled wine and mince pies and chocolate brownies, and I couldn't have the mulled wine because I was going to be driving later that evening. I didn't have the mince pies because I don't really do dried fruit. I don't really get what that's about. And I didn't have the chocolate brownie because my hands were filthy. So I did find putting the greenery into the wreath a bit tough going on my hands. And I actually saw my friend that I went with yesterday, and I was like, "I'm really sorry if I was grumpy to the ends of it. My hands were hurting." So and she was like, no you weren't," but kind of felt like I was. So, but my hands were probably sore because only a few days earlier I had been on another craft workshop. Excuse me, I'm going to take another glug of this. And this time I had been on a willow weaving workshop with a basket maker called Cassie Hayden, who we've featured in a previous issue of the magazine. I think I've done 2 mini workshops with Cassie myself now. I made like a oh my word, what do you call them? It's like a tripod for growing runner beans or sweet peas, and in the winter you can put fairy lights around it and make a kind of alternative Christmas tree. So I've done that once with her. And I've also, what's the other thing I did? Maybe it is only that I've done. I thought I'd done 2 things. Hey ho. No, I have done 2 things. Nope. Oh, a wreath. I've made a wreath with Cassie as well. But this time we were going over to learn how to do a platter. And small confession here, I was going to make it and give it away. I kind of like it. And I'm not sure I want to give it away. So this is the platter. This is the style of platter that Cassie makes. And if I do it like this, you can see that it's slightly curved. It's slightly curved to make a curved platter. And look at the different colours of the willow. I don't know how well they're showing up. You can definitely see that there's a slightly darker one, and then these gorgeous oranges, which are fab. And I have to say, this was great fun. Absolutely, really enjoyed it. My hands were sore by the end of this, and that's probably why my hands were sore when I did the wreath. But yeah, I mean, how cool is that? So to go on this workshop cost €12.50, which was a steal, and it's part of the Waterford winter something. It's like their Christmas celebration. And I mean, yeah, like you can't beat that, can you? It's like, I made that and then I know what it cost as well, so I absolutely adore it. So the idea is for bread or for fruit, or in my case it's been holding yarn. And the good thing is that if it's a bit big for your table, after you've finished using it, you can just hook it up and it looks kind of cool on the wall. Yeah, I'm kind of gutted that I've got RA. I have rheumatoid arthritis. I'm kind of gutted that I've got RA because I would love to do more willow weaving, but it is tough on my hands. I wouldn't get it to be tough on anybody's hands, but definitely my hands I notice afterwards. So what I'm hoping is that my husband really gets into it. We can have baskets everywhere. So yeah, definitely if you're visiting Ireland, or you live in Ireland and you're interested in willow weaving, I definitely advise you check out Cassie. She has a great workshop at her house, and she's very open to doing workshops with groups of people and what have you, so check her out. So that's all of my ta-das, I think, or all of my ta-das that I can show you. There are ta-das for the magazine. But while I think of it, one of the other ta-das that I wanted to show you, which isn't one of my ta-das, but just talking about my husband there made me remember, was in the last episode. You might recall that I mentioned that my husband had made a crib for our soon-to-be grandson, and a few people have asked about it. I've shown a few people photos of it and a video, and everybody's been like, wow. So I'm going to put a little video here, or a couple of pictures, depends on what works, so that you can have a look and you can see what he made. So all being well, that's worked. Yep, I love it. And my daughter and her beau, Shane, are both blown away with it. So he made it. We got a standard crib size mattress from Mothercare, and he made it around that so that it fits a standard size crib mattress, so that it can be kind of handed down. So the idea is that he's going to make, if all of our children end up with having their own children, he's going to make a crib for each family, so that they can hand it down through their family, if you know what I mean. So that's my daughter's, and with my grandson that goes in that first, and if she has some more children, then they can use it after. So it the top comes away from the bottom, and it can either be used on the legs as a rocking crib, or just flat. It depends what works. So yeah, absolutely adore it. He made it with reclaimed floorboards. They were over 100 years old, and he bought them in a reclamation yard in the UK, and then worked them. And then the glass is proper stained glass. I used to do a lot of stained glass before we moved to Ireland, and it's not something that works particularly well with the knitting, aside from the problems with my hands, that you invariably end up with little nicks and cuts and pieces of skin that catch on if you're working with glass a lot, and then that will catch on your knitting. So they don't kind of work well together. But I've got quite a lot of glass and stuff left, so my husband and I, when he's back in Ireland, when he's back living and working in Ireland, because he works in the UK, we're going to get everything out, and I'm going to do a bit of the designing, and he's going to do the cutting, and I can help with the grinding and the putting the copper foil on and stuff like that. And we're going to try and use up some of the glass that we've got. We've got a few ideas for bits and pieces. But yeah, I'd be interested to know what you think about the crib. I love it. I absolutely love it. I've been trying to persuade him to perhaps make a few more of them. Not that they'd be cheap, but you know, for something that's going to last, why not? So that's the to-dos, all of the to-dos. The next section I wanted to talk about was the we had to have it. So I am kind of unusually for me sitting here in a sweatshirt, and the reason I'm sitting here in a sweatshirt is, let me see if I can lift up this, is that it says baubles. And my daughter bought me this. Let me adjust myself again. It's actually, I say baubles a lot. Apparently something to do with the way I say baubles, because that's how I normally say it, it's baubles. Sounds a bit dirty, so I've been told. Judge for yourself. Does it sound dirty? I don't know. But anyway, I say baubles that way because I'm from Southeast London, and apparently it's a thing. One of my best friends phones me up around this time of the year. It starts from about November, let's be honest. It starts from about November, and she'll say to me, will you say it? And I'm like, what? And she's like, go on, say it. So she makes me say baubles to her. And she texts me if she's having a bad day and says, go on, say it. So it's a thing. It's a thing. And when my daughter saw this jumper, she was like, oh my God, gotta get one for my mum. So this jumper came from Girl vs. Cancer. So I don't know if you've heard about it, but Girl vs. Cancer is it's a company that's been set up by a lady called Olann Mahone. Mahone, I think that's right. Who is a breast cancer survivor. She's 32 years old. A lot of people will have seen Olann on the First Dates programme. And she's another Southeast London girl. Power to her. And I've got her blurb here because I wanted to kind of read some of bits of it. So she's put, Olann has never been a big fan of her boobs. She's put, if you could even call them that. They're more of a nod to a boob, a flabby nipple type situation, a goodwill gesture. So we're saying she hasn't got many. She hasn't got much. She's a little bit lacking in the breast department. So Um, she, you know, like there's she's a girl after my own heart. She's obviously got a bit of a potty mouth. Some of this I can't read. So she had aggressive breast cancer, a 2.8 centimeter grade 3 cancerous lump. Um, so she knew it had to come out. So she got fed up with the idea, this misconception that breast cancer is only something that affects women that are over 50. So she decided to kind of grab her diagnosis by the neck, and really go out and out to show that this wasn't the case, and to raise awareness of the fact that younger men can get breast cancer. And she has a blog and an Instagram where she is really doing this kind of beat cancer crusade, and it's called Girl versus Cancer. So she shares tales about her treatment in an authentic and accessible way to attempt to tackle the cancer taboo, and create a better understanding of the challenges facing those diagnosed with cancer in their 20s and 30s. So she so it's kind of grown from this emotional outlet to something a bit bigger now, and she does these t-shirts which she calls the tit tees. I don't know if you've seen them, and they have slogans emblazoned across them. So she did it because she wanted to kind of tackle it head on, but also because for financial reasons, because when you're ill, I mean, your finances take a real hit, and especially if you're a single person, if you're living by yourself, you know that those struggles are predominantly something you have to deal with. No matter how good your family support network is, it's still you that's got to try and feed yourself and keep yourself warm and God knows what else. So she's kind of done these fantastic t-shirts. I'm trying to think, there's two with like there's t-shirts with fried eggs on and stuff like that, for small chested ladies. I think there's one with baps on and stuff like that. So when I was younger, in my more in your face days, I did, you know, if you type on a calculator, is it 80885, and you turn it upside down, it looks like boobs. You'll do it at school. So I'd screen printed a t-shirt that had that on right across my chest. And the amount of people, men and women, that would go, oh, was quite funny. So fair play to her. Fair play to Lauren. Go girl. So yes. So I am sporting my Christmas baubles sweatshirt. Yeah. And I encourage everyone to go over and have a look at what Lauren does. This is her thank you card that comes with every purchase. It's "You're the tits." And they give, let me see, they donate 25% of the Tit Tees profits to its 4 partner charities to ensure they are able to keep doing the epic things they do. And the charities are Trek Stock, which is a young adult cancer support organisation, Look Good, Feel Better, which facing cancer. Facing cancer with, I have to take my confidence. I was saying I have to take my glass off, but I could see it. Future Dreams and Copper Feel. So, oh, there's a picture of Lauren. There. So there you go. If you did see her on First Dates, she was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, get to know your boobs. Always good information to have, people. Definitely check her out. So this is my early Christmas present, so I love it, absolutely love it. And it's a boyfriend sweater, so I got it big and baggy so that I can, I do own sweatshirts. I own 2 sweatshirts. Both of which I've cut in some way, shape or form. I tend to cut the neckband off of a sweatshirt. A lot of the time I'll also cut the waistband off of a sweatshirt, and even occasionally I might cut the cuff offs. It depends I prefer kind of big, sloppy if I'm wearing a sweatshirt. So yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, it's been the source of of a lot of hilarity at the moment. So the other we had to have it's were, oh, I've got some yarns. So I have in the last episode I'd said that I'd been to the Knitting and Stitching at Dublin, and I bought some bits and pieces, but I'd left the bag in my friend's car, so I can show you what I got there. So I got, oh wow, that's really blowing out. This is the same kind of colour as the Subalpine hat. It's that kind of pinky red, soft pinky red, like a vintage looking red, rather than what it is there. It's looking incredibly blown out there. Yeah, still looking quite blown out. Maybe when I actually edit it, it won't do. But this is called the Red Pear, and it's been dyed with cochineal. Isn't it lovely? It is 100% wool from the Peruvian Andes, and it is from Apollote Fibre Works. There is 328 yards, 300 meters, and it's a sport weight. And Apollote Fibre Arts, that's Jennifer. She's one of the columnists that writes in Olann and. She writes about her dyeing and about different bits and pieces. And in our next issue, she has she's got a naturally dyed tableware set that she's done, and she's got a tutorial for that. So looking forward to seeing that. She's been hinting about it online, so yeah, can't wait. So I bought that. In my head, I was thinking mittens or a baby cardigan. Something else for the baby. Whilst I was up at the RDS, the other thing I got was some fabric paints. So let me just see if I can grab them all together to show you. So I got these and these. So that I have this idea in my head for kind of painting baby grows. I'm not completely sure it's going to work because I'm not sure what kind of handle this has. By that I mean it's supposed to have a soft handle. I got this from the Colourcraft stand up at the RDS, and this is supposed to have quite a soft handle, so when you paint with it on fabric, the fabric isn't meant to become too stiff, but I need to kind of test it out. I have this idea for doing a few different bits and pieces on baby grows for the baby, so I just wanted to kind of try it out. I think they were like €2 each. They had a they weren't doing conversions, they were doing like for like. So although they're a UK based company, I think they were £2 and they were taking €2. So I got a few different bits and pieces, a few different colours to try. So if it works, I'll let you know. So couldn't resist. And what else did I get while I was up there? As I said in the last episode, I didn't buy that much while I was up at the RDS. I don't really need it. Something I did get was some of this cork fabric because I've been dying to try it out. I don't know if you've seen it on anything on social media. It's only a little square that I got, or a little rectangle, and it has like a velour feel on the back. So I didn't know what to expect. So I'm hoping to find some time to experiment with this. And then the only other thing I got while I was up there, which I didn't get. So my two friends were Sew Angels, which is they go up and they volunteered and they threaded up the sewing machines with all the different workshops. They'd go in, they'd thread up the sewing machines, and then they'd leave while the people were doing their workshops. They'd then go in again for the next workshop, thread up the sewing machines, clear away any of the rubbish, so that the tutors would be ready. And they got these like goodie bags, I suppose, while they were up there. And in the goodie bags, each of them got a set of these little squares of fabric, and they're not really my friend's colours, was how she put it. She does an awful lot of quilting, and she tends to do American country style, which is more muted. I think it's more muted. Correct me if I'm wrong. And they got given these. So she just said, look, I won't use them. You probably will. So that was a nice little extra gift that I wasn't expecting to get. So that's, yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'll use them for, but I'm sure I'll come up with something. So that was another we had to have it. And then what else have we got? Oh yes, so I bought this after. They're the bits that I bought at the RDS. I bought this after. So this is the latest Christmas colourway from West Yorkshire Spinners in their signature range, signature 4-play range, which is 75% wool, 25% nylon, and it contains 35% Blueface Leicester, I think, yeah. And this is the 2018 Christmas colourway, which I think is called Fairy Lights. So let me hold it up. There's blues in there as well this time. And I'm not going to lie, the only reason I bought it is because I have the previous 2 years, and I really would like to say I'm going to make these socks. I will do eventually, I will get round to it, but it was more that I'd like to have, when I do find the time to sit down and make them, I would like to be able to make all of them. So that's that. And then, oh yes, so I've been so lucky. So not only did I get my Baubles t-shirt, sweatshirt from my daughter for Christmas, early Christmas, I've also received a couple of gifts of late that were just really, really generous. So my good friend and quilting goddess has been making a quilt for my grandson, and she brought the quilt up, and when she brought it up, she said that she bought me this, which I don't know if anyone's seen them. It's by Maud and Miska Petersham, yeah, and it's a vintage book, and I think my friend, if I remember rightly, my friend loves this couple's animation, and I think that's probably what they're most well known for. I think they originally started off illustrations, not animation, sorry. I think they originally started off as illustrators for children's books and children's fables. I think they did the Aesop fables or something like that, Aesop fables, whatever. And they then brought out this range of books called the Storybook of, and they've got wool, cotton, rayon, wheat, rice, trains, cars, you name it. There's a whole load of them. And she absolutely adores these and saw this one and was like, wow. And yeah, I mean, look, isn't it fantastic? They're a vintage book now, and to be honest, they don't sell for just pennies, let's put it that way. But yeah, the illustrations are fantastic, and I absolutely love it. I was so touched. I think they were published in the States, I might be wrong, but I think they were published in the States, so I don't know how easy they are to get over here. I've certainly had a look since, because they did little sets. So in this set, it's the Storybook of wool, the Storybook of cotton, the Storybook of rayon, and the Storybook of, oh, there's one, silk. And I would love that set. And when I looked on a couple of the American websites, they were much, much cheaper, because I assume because they're easier to get over there. Finishing and dyeing, I mean, absolutely fantastic, and it's in very, very good condition. Yeah, I was really touched. I absolutely love it. This one's from 1948, so that was something that a friend gave me that was very unexpected. And then yesterday, while I was helping out on the stand of the Cork Hag Weavers stand, one of the other ladies from the guild, she makes these beautiful felted, needle felted decorations and bits and pieces, and I'd seen these and thought they were fabulous. I think the week before she had one with her, and she said, oh, I've made you a little present. So I was like, oh, thank you. And I opened it and only looked at it yesterday when I got back, and look, oh my god, isn't he just the cutest? But then he's got a friend. And then he's got another friend. Look at them. Aren't they just fab? I love them. And she said to me, my friend said to me, it's a little set and you can either keep them or you can give them to your daughter. I mean, she did say I could keep them. Oh my god, aren't they cute? I absolutely adore them. I think they're fantastic. Oh, I'm blown away with how cute they are. Right from their acorn caps to their little felt scarves. Oh, yeah, they're just incredible. Oh, it's such a lovely little gift. So, you could attach thread a little bit of fishing wire in the back of them, or jewelry wire, and hang them up. I just think they're so cute. Their faces are just great. Is it a family? Are they friends? Is it a choir? And if it's a family, who's who? If these two had a baby together, would it be orange? I'm not sure. I might be in need of caffeine. This has gone on for quite a while. So, sorry that I've been rambling on for quite a bit. Hopefully, I've managed to cut the dog noise out. I'm hoping it's not playing around with the focus. The colour's a bit off. Yeah, I can't remember if I said what the weather was like here. It's pretty dreary. It's been raining incessantly, so it's not very nice. So yeah, thanks for joining us. I will don't forget to enter the giveaway. As I say, put your answers in the comments on YouTube, and I will announce the winners in the two winners in the next episode. So good luck there. All being well, I will get another episode filmed before Christmas or over Christmas. If it is over Christmas, then I'd like to wish you a Merry Christmas now beforehand. Enjoy your Christmas. Hope you, or if you don't celebrate Christmas, I'm sending you Christmas greetings from me, and hoping that you enjoy some time off at least. Take care. Wish you well. Bye.